Hello, Datta. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm fine. May I ask about you, sir?
Yes. I also. So, Datta, please tell me about yourself.
Sure, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity to introduce myself, sir. Myself, Datta Tapgale. I'm from Latur of Maharashtra state. I started my career in IT industry in the mid of the 2019, and from there, uh, I worked as a UI developer for 1.5 years, and after that, uh, from the last 1 year, I'm working as Angular developer. And in these approximately 2.5 years of experience, I worked on HTML, HTML5, CSS, CSS3, SAS, then TypeScript and Angular. Also, in my introduction, I would like to share my um, strengths. That is, I'm a quick learner, hard worker, always keen to learn new things, uh, and I believe in work is worth it. So that's it, sir. Thank you.
Oh, that's a very good introduction. So, Datta, on which Angular version do you work?
From last 1 year, sir, I'm working on Angular 10.
Very good. What is the difference between HTML and HTML5?
HTML5 is the current version of HTML, and HTML5 introduced some new features. So in these new features, some semantic tags have been included. That is header, nav, aside, main, article, then footer, then fig caption, figure, etc. Then also the HTML5 supports the audio video files with the help of audio video tags. After that, some APIs have been included in HTML5, that is fetch API, geolocation API, then drag and drop API, after that clipboard API, etc.
What is the difference between CSS and CSS3?
CSS3 also a current version and latest updated version of CSS. Basically, it is the full form of cascaded style sheet. And in CSS3, box sizing property is available to adjust the height and width of the elements. Then in also in CSS3, some attribute selectors have been included in newly. Then SVG canvas, these are the new things in CSS3. Yes, sir. These are some new features in CSS3.
That's it. CSS3 have introduced some new models. Can you give some name of the new models?
Sorry, sir, I don't remember.
2G, 3G, 2D, 3D animations, keyframes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Multiple backgrounds, gradients.
Yes, sir.
Some new selectors like pseudo selectors, pseudo classes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are the CSS selectors we have?
Sorry, sir. May you please repeat?
Yeah. What are the CSS selectors we have?
Basically, there are 5 types of selectors. That is simple selector, combinator selector, attribute selectors, then pseudo class selectors, pseudo element selectors. So these are the main basic 5 selectors. In simple selector, again, there are 4 types. That is universal selector, tag selector, then descendant selector, sibling selector, general sibling selector.
What is the difference between pseudo class and pseudo element?
Basically, pseudo classes selects the elements on the basis of their certain state, uh, and pseudo elements select the some part of a element, that is in pseudo element selectors, uh, that is first letter, first line. So these are the uh, selectors which select the specific part or some part of an element.
Okay. Can you explain the positions in CSS?
Yes, sir. In CSS, we have a CSS property that is position, and for that position property, we can give the uh, four values. That is by default value is position equal to static, uh, then absolute, then relative, fixed, and also sticky. So approximately five values are there, but one static is a by default value for the position.
What is position sticky?
Sticky is the combination of relative and fixed. It depends on the scrolling. When we scroll the screen, so in that way, while scrolling the screen, the position takes the value as relative, and when the screen offset point reached, after that element becomes fixed. It don't move. So actually this is the combination of relative and fixed.
What is difference between display none and visibility hidden?
Display none and visibility hidden. So these properties makes the elements invisible. But the key difference between that them is in display none, um, the element becomes invisible, and it disturb the page structure,
Okay.
because it makes that space empty. But in case of visibility hidden, so the element becomes invisible, but it keeps its space as a reserve. The another element cannot come to the place of that specific element, and in this way, the page structure will not be disturbed in case of visibility hidden.
What is attribute?
Uh, attribute uh, um, gives the additional information, that is the meta information about the HTML elements or HTML tags. For
What
example, SRC, alt, target, these are the attributes, style attribute, etc.
in how many ways we can specify the CSS styles for the HTML element?
Yes, sir. So we can apply the CSS to HTML page by three ways. First way is inline CSS. We can, in case of inline CSS, uh, we can use the style attribute to give the styling property to that element. Second way is uh, internal CSS. In this in the case of internal CSS, we use the style element in the head tag and use the CSS property to the page. And in third way, that is external CSS. In the external CSS, we write the code separately in CSS file, and after that, that path to that file will be attached to our HTML page. So in this way, we can apply the CSS by three ways, that is inline, internal, and external CSS.
What is difference between figure and image?
Figure is the semantic tag involved in the HTML5. So to get known about the about the content of the element. So this information. So actually, the figure semantic code is just for the browser. A browser can understand the content of the code. That is here, image is included in this page. So this just is a semantic tag. An image, by using the image, we can add the path to the image, and we can add the image in the page.
But figure can I have multiple content, like in figure we can write caption.
Yes, sir. Big
We
caption.
can
Yes.
have multiple images.
Yes, sir.
What is difference between SVG and canvas?
Sorry, sir. I don't have idea about that.
What is mean by semantic elements?
Semantic elements are just informative tags to the browser. Just browser can understand what type of content has been included in this tag, such as when we use the figure tag. So browser can understand in this tag some images, some figures have been included in this. That is, if we take the header tag as a semantic tag, then the browser can understand this is the header tag and head tag of the HTML page.
What are the data types we have in JavaScript?
Basically, there are two main types of main data types. That is the primitive data type and non-primitive data types. So primitive data types are the predefined types, and primitive data types always store the values, whereas non-primitive data types stores only a reference of the objects. So again, we can subdivide the primitive data types as number, string, boolean, undefined, and null. And in case of non-primitive data types, we have object, arrays, and also regex. That is, the regular expression is also a non-primitive data type we have.
What is difference between undefined and not defined?
In undefined, a variable can take the value undefined when we declare that variable, but we don't assign the value to that variable. Then that variable will get the value as undefined. And when we discuss about the not defined, when we don't declare a variable by using any keyword, let, where, or constant, so that variable will be displayed as not defined in case of error.
What is hoisting?
Hoisting is the shifting of all the declarations in the page to the top of the scope. So it may be a local scope or global scope or block scope.
What is portion?
Portion is the conversion of one data type into another data type.
What is callback function?
Callback function is basically a function which is passed as an argument to another function.
What is difference between slice and splice?
By using the slice method of array or a string, so we can we can copy all the elements or some elements of
Hmm.
another array. And when we and with the help of splice, we can cut all the elements and we can paste all that elements in the another array also. And by using the splice, we can also add some elements and delete also elements simultaneously, and it is not possible in case of slice.
Suppose I have uh, a array and I want to empty that array.
Yes, sir.
How can I do it?
There are some methods, sir. Uh, if I want to empty an array, so we can use the splice method and cut all the elements into another array. So in this method, we will need another empty array to empty that. But the best way to empty an array is by writing array dot length equal to 0.
What is higher order function?
The higher order functions are the functions which uh, accepts the another functions as arguments. That is, we can take the examples of for each, map, filter, then reduce. These are the higher order functions which accepts the another functions as arguments.
What is pure function?
A function is said to be a pure function when it satisfies the three conditions. The first condition is that function should return something. That function should not depend on the external factors or external declarations. And third one is sorry, sir, I don't remember third condition.
It must give same in output for same.
Yes, sir, yes.
What is class? Class in ES6.
This is the new feature of ES6. By using class, we can create instance of new object. So in that class, we use the constructor.
Okay.
And when we call the class, basically the constructor runs the code and creates the new object.
Can you write one example of class?
Yes, sir.
Datta, please share your screen.
Oh, sorry, sir. I am writing,
Okay, okay. Yes.
but
it is one limitation that it will always create a instance with fname JavaScript, right?
Yes, sir.
What if we want to grow different fname for each instance? How can we achieve that? Please console. You will not get fname here. There is something missing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, that's all. What is temporal dates one?
May you please repeat, sir?
What is temporal date one?
Sorry, sir, I don't know.
What is if?
If he's immediately invoke the function expression, and when we write that code of that function, the function will be immediately called.
What is lexical scope?
When we return a function inside another function, the inner function creates a scope of parent, and that parent scope is known as lexical scope. So in this case, inner function can access all the data available in the parent function, that is parent scope, and that scope is lexical scope.
What is closure?
Closure is a function which creates a lexical scope, that is a parent scope.
Can you write one example of closure?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What is currying function?
Function currying is the calling the functions uh, in chaining form.
Okay. Can you write example for the currying function?
Yes, sir. We can apply the currying here also.
Yes.
So we get the 15. So
Hmm.
this chaining of calling the functions one after another is called as uh,
Okay.
currying.
Okay. That's what is extend keyword?
Basically, extend keyword used in class when we want to create another class with the help of a basic class. So at that time we use the extend keyword.
What is JSON?
JSON is the JavaScript object notation. Basically, this is the text format which is used to transfer the data over the network. That is from user to server and server to user. So this is the easier way to transfer the data.
Hmm.
That is JSON format. It is basically in the stringified mode. Keys and values of the objects are in uh, string format.
What are the methods we have over JSON?
We can till today I have used the three methods. That is stringify, JSON.parse, and JSON.remove.
What is mean by pass by value and pass by reference?
Passed by, sir.
Yes, pass by value and pass by reference.
Passed by value. So passed by reference is suppose we have an object and we copy that object in another empty object.
Mhm.
So the 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 basic object with the values will not be copied in the another empty object, but its reference will be copied. It means that when we change a we make some changes in one object, it will change also the both the objects. So it is happening due to the reference and
Okay, that's okay.
opposite thing is the value. Okay.
What is meant by object prototype?
Object prototype is the base object of the any object that is parent object we can say here or base object.
Okay. What is Ajax?
Ajax uh, in under the concept of Ajax we make the HTTP request over the network. We get the data from the database by using some APIs. That is Fetch API.
So do you work on API?
Yes, sir.
What are the steps involved? Make a API.
Uh, in HAPI, uh, we have a fetch method having the parentheses after the fetch keyword, and we insert the URL, uh, that is the path to the data from the database. We insert the URL in the parentheses of the page, and after that, uh, because the page returns the promise, so after that the next stage is to consuming the promise. So we use the .then method uh, uh, two times. The firstly .then, and whatever the response we get, so that response will be applied with the JSON method, that is the response.json, and after that again we consume by using the .then, and finally we
Okay.
get the final response. And if we don't get the response, if there is some errors, we can also handle that error by using the .catch method.
Suppose if I give one API link, can you write code?
Yes, sir.
So I am giving you one API of products. Okay. And you have to console the products whose values should be greater than 100, whose value should be equal or greater than 100.
Yes, sir.
I have passed API link in chat section.
Yes, sir. Sir, the elements having the price greater than equal to 100.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the product whose value should be greater than or equal to. Okay, great.
Yes.
What are the new features we have in ES6?
In ES6, we have two new keywords for variable declaration, that is late keyword, const keyword. After that, arrow functions are the new feature. Then classes, then promises. Some methods are there, that is array dot from, uh, etc.
What is arrow function?
Arrow function is the short syntax for writing the function expressions. So in that, we don't need to use the function keyword while writing the arrow function. And after that, also we can remove the return keyword and curly brackets when there is a one statement in the definition of function expression. So basically, this is the short syntax for function expression.
What is difference between let, const, and var?
Uh, uh, yeah, by using the let keyword, uh, we can uh, we cannot redeclare the variable, but we can reassign the value to that variable. By using the constant keyword, uh, we cannot we can neither redeclare or reassign the value. And in case of var, we can redeclare, and also we can reassign the value to the variable. So also the hoisting is possible in all the three keywords, but in case of constant, there will be error, that is we cannot use before initialization, that is before giving the value. Uh, and in case of late keyword, so we get the value undefined.
What is destructuring of array?
In the case of a destructuring array, normally we change the values of the keys in objects, array, uh, uh, by giving the by using the key name, curly braces, the index number equal to value. But in case of destructuring array, we can do same things by in opposite direction also.
Can you write one example?
Sorry, sir. I have only theory knowledge about this. I have not worked on that.
So you just told me that you have 1 year of experience in Angular, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think you must have knowledge of destructuring of array and object.
Yes, sure, sir.
What is rest and spread? Hello.
Not revised, sir, about rest and
What is inheritance?
inheritance. The general meaning of inheritance is uh, the child elements can get the methods from the parents elements. Uh, that is when we uh, when we make a object by literal method and apply some method on that, and if the method is not written in that object, so that method will be fetched from its parent prototype object, that is base object. So this fetching of method from parent to child is known as inheritance.
What is callback hill?
Callback hill is basically nested callbacks which are stacked below one another, forming a pyramid structure. Basically, it is a nested callbacks. Number of callbacks are stacked below one another.
What is promises?
From JavaScript promise is an object which returns the value in future, and promise handles very well the asynchronous operations of the JavaScript. Before the promise, we had the callback functions and events to handle the asynchronous operations. But in case of callbacks and events, there is complexity and unmanageable code was there, and it was difficult to handle for a user. But this difficulty has been removed with the introduction of promise, and promise can easily handle these callback hells.
Okay. Can you write one example?
For promise, sir?
Yes.
Sure, sir.
Okay, okay, that's
Yes.
what is promise chaining?
Mm, promise chaining is the execution of the asynchronous operations uh, sequentially
By using promises.
by using promises.
What is strict mode?
Strict mode is basically for the strictly data typing. That is, in strict mode, we'll have to assign or write the data types of all the variables or declarations used in the JavaScript.
What is isNaN?
Isnan is a method. It verifies either a value is a number or not.
If we pass 10 number in isNaN, what will it return?
Uh, it returns false, sir.
So I have passed one array in chat section.
Yes.
Please copy it. Some error.
Acha, already.
Yes, it is already.
Yes, sir.
So you have to find uh, the sum of ages of frogs whose gender is male and whose favorite food is fly. Have got the question?
Yes, sir. The
Addition of
summation
the
of
ages.
ages. Yes, yes.
Correct.
Of the male candidates.
And whose favorite food is fly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So remove that A dot H at line number 99. Also A also. A plus equal to B dot H. And one more thing, you have to initialize value of A. How to initialize? At line number 100, at line number 100, within a
Yes.
parenthesis, yes, do one comma and put 0. No. Now at line number 102,
101.
after curly braces, after curly braces,
Yes, sir. Yes.
put comma and value of a is 0. No, just put 0. It will get automatically assigned. Yes. Check now.
When it is done different.
Something you miss.
Yes,
You
sir.
miss return keyboard.
Yes, sir. Right.
I have asked a code of block in chat section. Will you please copy that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what will be the value of x at line number 113? 113. Yes. What will be the value of x?
Forty-four, sir.
Okay. Please check in console. It will be nan. Because we
Yes,
have
sir.
declared
There is a random function.
and not a random function. Yes, that random function we have declared variable x at line number 114. So it is get hoisted within that function at line number 112, and value of any declaration in if it get hosted is
Yes,
what?
yes, sir. Correct. Sir.
Undefined.
Yes.
And undefined plus what means NA.
Not a number.
Suppose I have used two declarations. Let x is equal to 10 and let y is equal to 20. And you have to swap the values of x and y by using yes
Any value.
10. Any value. Yeah. Without using any third declaration. You have to swap.
Yes, sir.
It's console. Oh, great.
Yes.
And what is this concept? Yes.
No, sir.
Is this restructuring of array?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes,
Earlier I asked you to write an example of restructuring of array.
yes, sir. Yes.
Can you write a function to find the given number is prime or not?
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay, okay, that's fine.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, can write function. Okay, Datta. So I have done from my side. Do you have any question for me?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. It's nice to talk to you, Datta. Have a good
Thank
day. Bye.
Same to you, sir.